Eileo guys, and welcome back to another account review. And here in today's video we have Giberish, who is a fairly new player, I believe. She hasn't been playing for too long, but she figured I would check out her account. And in today's video, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So without further ado, boys, let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so Giberish, I've checked out your mons, and there's something, I don't know how to describe it to you. It's just something very, very odd going on with your box. Like, some of your mons are built perfectly fine, and then others just, it's like pure Pepega. Like, I'm not hating on you for it. You're level 37. Big whoop-de-doo. You know, this is the time to learn, and hopefully after this video you can learn and get a better idea of what you want to do with your mons in terms of gemming them. I mean, I'm not looking for anything spectacular. I'm just looking for base stuff. I don't even care if you have flat gems on them. But for someone like your Valk, she's running attack on her, which is perfectly fine. She has an attack gem. She has an HP gem, perfectly fine. And then we come over here, she has a crit damage gem. Now, this isn't the first crit damage gem that I've seen on your account, and this won't be the last one if I went through every single mon. But just FYI, in the future, crit damage is something that's used in builds of mons that already have pretty much max crit, or, you know, pretty much max crit. They're like within a small, tiny window of max crit to get the best damage out of them, and it's really more for dark types or just mons that already do a lot of damage. Like Valk, even if she did have near max crit, her main selling point really isn't crit anyway, so there's no real benefit from that. So crit damage gems are pretty much end of the game, kind of end of the line type things, and it's kind of fitted towards certain mons, not just every mon that you see that, you know, you're just throwing a crit damage gem on them. So I would just say take the crit damage gems off of your mons, especially if they don't have anywhere near max crit rate, and just give them an attack gem. Just give them a flat attack gem. There's nothing wrong with running Valk with HP attack. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. I did state before on Discord, but I'm going to go ahead and show everyone else. You have Purse, she's Evo 2, so maybe you use her, maybe you don't. I don't know if you do, but I was assuming that you do because she is Evo 2 at least. But she has an HP gem. It's flat. Big deal, dude. And then she has another HP gem. Percent. Big deal, dude. Then she has a recovery gem. Again, just check out your mon's skills and just read what their skills do, because that's a very, very easy way to figure out what type of gems that they should have on them. Purse by no means should have recovery on them, and there's another mon that I saw in your mon box that had recovery on them, and they don't need it at all. Like, they absolutely don't need it at all. Let's go over here to Incubus. Yep, it was Incubus. He has recovery on him as well. I'm not sure if you're just trying to fill slots, which is a common habit for newer players. You just want either a full set, you don't care what's on the set, you just want the full set bonus because you think it's going to be better, or you just want to fill in slots because there's an empty slot. Sometimes having an empty slot is perfectly fine instead of, you know, wasting gold trying to roll into this gem of recovery that does absolutely nothing for Incubus. Absolutely nothing at all. So just FYI with that. There wasn't anything else that I saw that was like glaring. Nothing that made me go like, wow, dude, we got grenades. But just keep in mind of how you gem mons. If you ever need any help, you know, feel free to ask me on the Discord or check out one of the videos that I have. Check out Reddit. You already know Odin's Son, so check out Odin's Son and get information from him. That way, just so your mons can perform better than what they are performing now, because it's going to help you very much in the long run. And since you're only level 37 though, there's not too much that we can focus on right now. So in this video, I just want to take the time to point out decent golem teams that you should work towards. And once you get golems going and you can farm golems with ease, then you'll get more gold with ease. Hopefully start sliming a little bit to get that 1k cap if possible, and start pulling in some mons and just make your life better. Just overall make your life better. But let's go over here to golems, and you're at level, yeah, you're at floor 74 of Tower of Chaos. I'm actually surprised. Let's go over here. Let's see if you were running anything before. Alright, so that was your B8 team. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, Hohenheim isn't like necessary, neither is Purse, but I mean, that works. That absolutely works. You can bring in anyone else if you want. You can go full DPS in here. Like, you can bring in Dark Fib. You don't even necessarily need Water Miho, but it's perfectly fine if you want to use her. Depending on your clear time here, the main selling point I'd like to tell newbies is just pick up 2 Monas and you can run the rest with whoever you want, even if you want to do DPS. Because I did see, who was it? Your Dark Mandragora, but she currently isn't built, which is fine. You can even throw in, you could take out Water Hohenheim and put in Dark Snow White. I mean, anything works, especially if you have 2 Monas. Level 60, preferably booked up. I think level 50 booked up is almost the same thing in terms of B8. Now, in terms of overall damage output, of course, level 60 is better. But in terms of B8, 2 Monas, or just have DPS that have fast animations and can easily clear the waves out, and you're fine. The main idea here is just to aim to get your time down to as a minute. Yeah, get close to a minute as possible for B8. If you can tune that time down, that's going to be really good, because that's going to be your number one money maker and your number 1 farming for square slot gems, which is perfectly fine. There's plenty of dudes that still run B8 for money, and like it's just that good. So really get your time down. If your time isn't near a minute, feel free to ask for help if you need it. For B7 though, you do have Wood Mowgli, which is great. Once again, Mandragora could work here too, just because she hits like a freaking truck. You have Succubus, so you could run Succubus in here. You could run your Dark Snow White. I would recommend Incubus, even though he has a slow animation, but only at Evo 2. I don't think the orange is worth the squeeze. I would much rather you bring in Wood Anew. I'm not sure what Wood Bulby's skills are. Wood Bulby is a hell no. Wood Bulby is not the play of the game. You could run someone like this. Like Succubus is just there as an SP battery. Pretty much. I mean, you shouldn't be dying in here anyways. But Mowgli can stay. Wood Anew's fine if you want to get a little bit more optimal though. Maybe bring in Wood Odin, and if you want, you can bring in Wood Wukong. Are these mons all worthy of getting an Evo 3? No. I mean, Wood Wukong, he's just a debuffer, so he could slow your runs down depending on how it is. But test them out and see what works out for you. If your Dark Snow White or your Dark Fibian is gemmed up better than him, run a team like this. You shouldn't have any problems clearing it once everyone's level 60 and hopefully gemmed up properly. But that's a good solid B17 for you. You can feel free to experiment with that. Mainly if you lack DPS though, feel free to drop one of these, like maybe probably Wood Anew, and bring in Succubus instead for a more stable time if you're having problems. But I try to run as much DPS as possible, because that makes the run safer if your DPS can clear it out. The longer run goes, the less safe it gets, in my opinion, because of many variables start popping up and then it's just a bad time. But for B9, very, very similar. I mean, you just want to go in with full DPS. It looks like you're working on Vamp, so you can bring him in there. What does Eddie have? She has Blind, Hunter. Not the best in the world. Fennec has Hunter though, and Attack Down. Maybe that is a little bit more beneficial for you. You could bring in Valk, even though she's not going to really do much DPS. She's more CC, which is nothing wrong with that if you have nothing else. I'm trying to think if you have any other good hard-hitting fire mons. Like here, a Fire Wild Fang at Evo 2, a Fire Thor, not a Fire Thor, Fire Succubus, or a Fire Leo would do great. Believe it or not, back in the day, I did a test with freaking Fire Braun. He works, like straight up, he works. I won't lie to you. If you want to run him and get him to Evo 3 because it's cheap and easy, do it. I'm trying to figure out if there's anyone else. Because this isn't optimal. It will work. It's just not very optimal. But you could run a team like that. Once again, if Snow White is built up, or if your Dark Mandragora gets built up. I know she doesn't have a square slot, which kind of sucks, but it's not the end of the world. It's still very possible. But whoever's built up the most with the gems, I would bring them in there. Feel free to bring at least 1 or 2 fire types if you can. If you can grab a hold of a Fire Leo, or a Fire Succubus, or Fire Wild Fang, I would recommend that instead. You're already invested in Vamp, which is perfectly fine. So if you can get him to Evo 3, even better. But for right now, I mean, keep what you got and maybe try and run like a team like this. Like, once again, Firebrand works. You can look it up. You can look it up. Is it optimal? No, but it gets the job done. And we're trying to get the job done here. But with all of these mons, as always, I recommend they be level 60. Level 60, adequately gemmed as best as you can. I understand that you're running these dungeons to get the gems for them to do better in the dungeons, which is kind of like a catch-22 or whatever. But as decently as you can from B8, focusing on B8 first. I think B8 is a very strong suit for you. B7 is your second strong suit, so you only have one gem type to focus on, which is in B9 once all things are said and done. But I mean, you definitely have Golem teams that are picked out for you, which can work. And once you get time, definitely invest in other mons like Eileo, great hard-hitting mon, usable in dragons and stuff like that. Succubus, she's usable, not my favorite, but I would get more probably use out of Fire Wild Fang. And you do have your Fire Vamp, who, what's his skill set? Adrenaline and Hunter. You can get use out of him too. For B10, you're obviously not B10 ready, but this is just like the distant future for you. I would bring in someone like Miho and then Purse, because you're probably going to need Purse for the passive heals. Miho is just there to sap, and then we need some wave clearers for you. So Dark Fibian, I'm a big fan of Dark Fibian because he gets the job done. Dark Fibian is usable everywhere. Never have I said that he's optimal. I just said that he's usable, so just remember that. But someone like Dark Fibian, or once again Dark Snow White, would be great to have. But really, I would say as you play more, work towards getting like a Fire Siegfried, in my opinion, because those are actual wave clearers and these are just wannabe wave clearers. Like, yeah, like someone like Dark Kiki would be good, even because she does have self-sustain, and then she has Predator, which does some nice damage. But her kit just isn't friendly towards wave clearing. Like maybe if she had morale boost in Predator, I would recommend her. She gets the job done. Like I'm not hating on her for that, because I did use her when I first began the game. But I would say focus on at least hopefully getting a Fire Siegfried within the next couple of months, getting him to Evo 2, and hopefully building him up as you go as well, because that's going to be a decent wave clearer, and he is a lot easier to get because of a time investment versus trying to go for Fire Draka when you don't have the gold for Fire Draka and you don't have the luck to pull a Fire Draka within the 2 pulls that you might have. So I would recommend a Fire Siegfried as a wave clearer for you instead. And then you could go the safe strat, because you do have Light Succubus. So you could run Miho, Fire Siegfried, Light Succubus, and then Purse. But what was Light Succubus? Does she heal too? Okay, it's SP and then Adrenaline. So depending on your DPS though, you could actually drop Purse, bring in Fire Siegfried, and if he's gemmed up okay as well, you could bring in another Sapper if you have another Sapper on you. If not, you can always invest in one. But that's the team I would recommend for you in the distant future once you get into B10. B10 should not be your priority right now. B7, B8, and B9, getting your times down and them getting mons built up for them should be your priority. And then you could take some of those mons and actually drop them in B10. But Miho, Light Succubus could work here, Fire Siegfried, and hopefully another Sapper. If your Fire Siegfried's gemmed up decently, that should be a solid B10 team for you just to get started with. There's more optimal builds, but we're just going off what you have and what's obtainable without luck. So do remember that. For Tower of Chaos, let's see what team you're running here. So for Tower of Chaos, it looks like you're running Miho, Purse, Mona, and Mowgli. You do have a Fire Valk though. Keep in mind you do have Fire Valk. Her CC is very, very important, because I run it with a CC'er and a wave clear as well. So someone like, you could take Mona out. I would take Miho out. Sap isn't that great, but you could run someone like Fire Valk. You can have Purse as a healer, and preferably someone else that can CC or someone else that can nuke if you want. So if you could bring in your Dark Snow White, assuming that she's the best gemmed up one, and then once again you can have Mona back in there. Mona's your best gemmed mon, but someone like Dark Mandragora or Dark Fabian would be great to have, just to have the DPS going there if you can't CC right now, because it looks like Valkyrie's your only CC'er at the moment. So if you could pick up, I don't know, a Water Sura even, that could be a great mon to have. That way you're running 2 CC'ers, a passive healer, and then you also have one mon that can do DPS. So that's something to take in mind as well. And once again, if you just want to go like full balls to the wall, just bring in Succubus and have at it. Really have at it. I mean, the hardest part, of course, is the resistance down factor in it, because if you don't bring them on with resistance down, it's just RNG of trying to get your CCs off on certain mons. That's just how it is. But right now, I would get another CC'er if possible. Even Water Sura Evo 2 with some optimal gems on him should serve you well, and you shouldn't have too much problems clearing this out for right now. Once you get Fire Siegfried though, and another CC'er, your time should be easy peasy in here. Like you could drop your Snow White for Fire Siegfried, and let's say you have a Sura, or you have another decent wave clearer, and you're running 1 CC, Succubus, another wave clearer, and then another wave clearer. You could pretty much auto the 100 floors of Tower of Chaos for right now until they add in more floors. But for right now, I would say manual play is probably the play of the game. I'm not sure if you can pull off getting through Tower of Chaos this month, but I think if you take my advice and do it next month, you will be good to go. But that's pretty much all of the suggestions that I have for you right now. Let's go back over here to your mon box real quick, and I'll just give you a quick rundown of mons that I would focus on. Do keep in mind though, focus on the mons that I showed you during the golems. Your job should be to get them to level 60 if you can, and get them as decently gemmed up as possible as you can, and start running them golems. So take those mons as the first ones that you should focus on. But for future uses, let's see if there's any other mons that I can point out for you for future endeavors. Obviously, if you're gonna use Purse, get her to 60. Aim to get Wood anew. I know it's hard farming him out, but he's definitely a good mon to have at 60 in Evo 3. Wood Mowgli is great that you have her at 60. I'm not sure why you have a Evo 3 fully booked up level 60 Wood Bulby. Maybe she'll be usable in the future, but right now it's not a good look. It's not a good look. Obviously Succubus, she's at 60. You don't really need that Light Victoria or Light Nike. You can work towards her in the future. Not necessary though for you. Yuki's great, especially in terms of PvP. She doesn't have a square slot. One of my Yukis don't have a square slot. It's not the end of the world. You can still get near max crit on her. So PvP wise, you can work on Light Yuki. Just PvP isn't the focus, because you can't PvP and expect to be good at PvP if you have trash gems. You're level 37. You're not supposed to have amazing gems. It's okay. It's okay. Dark Sea Star is going to be very useful for you as well with clearing content. So is Dark Miho. Definitely keep going with your Snow White. Dark Fabian, he's like one of my personal faves. He works because he's usable everywhere. He can heal and he can do damage. Is it optimal? No. But will it get the job done? Yes. Your Dark Mandy, someone to work on as well. Obviously doesn't have a square slot, but if you can over time get her built up to as close to max crit as possible, perfectly fine with that. Dark Mowgli, get Dark Mowgli up. She has a square slot on her. Get her up. Dark Kiki works. Dark Kiki works. But in terms of investment for you right now, you already have, number one, you have a Dark Mowgli, you have a Dark Snow White, and you have a Dark Fabian, and you have a Dark Mandragora, who I know doesn't have a square slot, but it's not the end of the world. If you didn't have Snow White or Fabian, or if you didn't have Snow White and Dark Mowgli, I would recommend you to further your advancement in Dark Kiki, but I think Dark Kiki is perfectly fine for right now. If you want to build her up later for CVC, clan versus clan, perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But for right now, I would focus on the ones that you do have. Dark Kiki is a wave clearer. She's just not a very good wave clearer. You have better mons that can do a better job with the same thing that she's trying to do, because your other mons can do a very good job at nuking, while Dark Kiki only has like one move that can do nuking. So keep that in mind. But I mean, You're level 37. Your job right now is just to get the golems, get your golem teams built up, get your times down in golems, get better gems, and then be on your way into the other stuff. But once you get a chance, definitely finish these Ashermon Battle Leagues as well. And if there's any mons that you're going to gleam up, once again, focus on nat 5s or focus on a nat 4 that's going to help you progress through the game. Don't just take your wood gleam and throw it into a wood Hana, because wood Hana is not going to help you clear content through the game. Wood Hana is not going to do that. If you need it to gleam someone like Fire Leo, I'm not saying spend all of your gleams on them, but if you're like 1 or 2 Leos away from an Evo 3 Leo, hey dude, hey. I did it. I'm not saying you have to do it, but if you choose to gleam any mon that's not in nat 5, make sure it helps your progression. That's all I can say. That's all I can say, because at the end of the day, this is just a game. This is your account review. It's done. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any ideas that you want to give Giberish, feel free to leave a comment below in case I missed out on anything. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Oh yeah, by the way, if you want an account review done, hit me up on Discord. Join the Discord over with the boys. We can get an account review done for you. But you have to join the Discord if you need some help, because I don't know if you need help, because I don't know. But until then, you guys, peace out, and I'll see you guys later.